Well, did Tyler throw his bullpen, and how did it look?
He threw his pen. It was good. It was good. I didn't talk to him about it afterwards, but my eyes, I liked what I saw. I thought he was ripping the fastball, used all of his pitches, and I feel good coming out of it that he'll face some hitters on Friday in Atlanta.
Do you know how many innings he'll throw in that series?
What's that?
Do you know how many innings he'll throw in that series?
I think it's probably the 2 or 3 inning sim game, something like that.
Is that enough?
Yeah.
To get back here?
I think so. Yeah, if we can do that, I think, like I said a few days ago, we dealt with being shorthanded, but to get him in a major league game is a priority, and so if he can, manage 2-3 innings in the sim game, I think that'll be sufficient.
Did he throw his entire mix today?
He did.
For the Illinois class, is there a point where you want to get him stretched out to before October?
I think, there's, in theory, a hope part of this, but there's also a realistic part of it, and I think that we're all comfortable in the sense that whatever it is, whatever the buildup is what it is, and we've got to go from there. So, obviously, I'd love to say they're 6-90 would be great. How realistic that is for both those guys, time will tell. So, if it's 4-60, 5-75, whatever it is, we're going to bet on each one of those guys.
With Yoshinobu, yesterday you talked about just the plan for him and kind of that pitch count range of 50 to 60 pitches. Is there something you're looking to see from him, I guess, in specific, whether it's with execution, whether it's with compete, that just tells you that not only, yes, we know he's healthy, but he's in a really good spot moving forward considering where we are in September?
Yeah, I think with Yoshinobu, he's back pitching in a major league game, in a pennant race. I expect his mind to be in that compete mode. I don't think anyone knows where his stuff is going to be as far as commanding of the fastball, the secondary. I'm betting on the fact that the lights are on and he's going to go out there and show well. I think for me tonight, I'm really hoping that we can be somewhat efficient in his innings, so we don't have to shorten him on the ups. And so a guy coming back from injury is something, when you get into the 25, 30 pitches in an inning, that's something that I hope we can, avoid tonight.
No Teoscar today, or we still just...
Yeah, I couldn't convince the training staff today. So he's available off the bench in a spot we can use him, and tomorrow I fully expect him to be in lineup in left field.
How do you relate with the training staff?
Yeah, it wasn't much of a conversation, so that's all right, I get it.
Who wins those debates?
The trainer, not me.
With the excitement, I guess, of this matchup, and I know when we were in Chicago, we talked about just the Japanese influence of that's amongst these two teams. When you see it now coming to life with these 2-star rookies, I mean, does the fan in you kind of get excited about just the potential that these young players have in this league? And
a little bit, but I want to beat this guy tonight. He shoved it up our butts in Chicago, so I want to hit the changeup. You see a lot of changeups. Hendricks a lot of changeups, and I want to beat this guy, and then I can be happy about the great matchup that it was. But no, he's having a heck of a year. I hope our 2 Japanese guys play a lot better than their 2 Japanese guys.
Dave, Gonsolin's pitching tonight for AAA Oakland City. Was that, going back to spring training, was that something that you expected this year at all?
No. I think with Tony, I'm sure he expected it. I think this is a great outcome for him, for us potentially. He put in a lot of hard work. Again, this is sort of raising the floor on next year and building somewhat of a foundation. And You know, if there's a crazy scenario where he's called upon for 24 and it makes sense, great. But for him to be able to continue to take these steps is a compliment to him and the whole training crew.
How likely, unlikely would it be for him to contribute in some way this year?
I think it's unlikely, and I talked to Tony, and he understands how unlikely it might be. But to have him building up and getting in that playoff mindset, that if he is called upon to be ready, that's a win. And like I said before, for him to have that carrot out there, motivation, that's only upside.
What you dealt with last year with Walker at the end of the season, rehab stints, does that kind of inform what you're doing with Tony this year? Maybe the way that turned out, where you kind of had to back off?
You know, I think they're a little different. I think we were really careful with Walker in the sense of what it could do for the following year, which is this year. I think with Tony, in the same vein a little bit, but you know, I don't think Walker was doing a 3-inning rehab outing either like this. So, you know, and Walker, Tony's pitched out of the pen. Walker did it his rookie year. So there's different things that a little bit. But again, I still think it's unlikely, but I applaud Tony for really trying to, you know, be a potential option.
Clayton said yesterday he's hopeful of getting a start or two in before the end of the regular season. Do you guys have a sense of how close or realistic that is?
I think hopeful is a good word. He's doing everything he possibly can to be able to kind of realize that goal. Saw him throw today, and you know, obviously the toe, the foot is not healed. You know, like I said, he's keeping his arm moving, but it's still got to heal. And if it doesn't, and it's limiting, then it's just not putting himself, whether performance, whether it's health with the other parts of his body, in jeopardy. But like I said, Clayton's doing everything he possibly can. So I think hopeful is right where I'm at.
With this injury, like, you know, like Freddie's finger was like 4 to 6 weeks. Is there like some sort of rough timeline on how long it takes something like this to heal, or is it just kind of?
I don't think so. You're talking about first base, doesn't affect the hitting. The throwing is still limited. And then you're talking about the foot, the toe, the push off, trying to throw 75 to 100 pitches, building the body to then get the hand speed to execute pitches. It's also not just a spur. There's some, I don't know if it's tendons or ligaments. There's other things that are going on that I don't think it's even close to similar. Thanks, guys. Yep.
Thank you.